No, stop. Why would you send this to me? I don't want to see a potentially homophobic video from JiDion. That's when my reality's been shattered. Former lesbian tells her truth about the LGBTQ LGTV community. I guess he's still trolling a little bit. What is this?
We was serious, you know. I was like, you know, I love you, but I'm not going to hell for you. You feel me? Like we was just, and then she said the same thing, you know what I'm saying? And so now we like, you know, I want to see you in heaven. She like, I want to see you in heaven. So you know, we doing this together. We go to church every day. We, you know what I'm saying? We do what we gotta do, and it's I'm walking with a different type of walk. I'm walking with a different type of talk. I ain't never pointed out scriptures in the Bible in my life until now. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I would just want people to know, like, hey, you struggling, you gotta figure out how to get out of that dark side.
Dark side. That's crazy.
You know, where they telling you that it's right, and find that light, and then keep pushing to.
Here's my question, like real question: how do you know that God doesn't like gay people? Like, people be like, well, it says in the Bible. Okay, but we also know that the Bible is not an objective source of God's word, right? Listen, and we all have come to accept this. How do we know that, like, it's just not, how do we know that God just doesn't think we're ready for it, or it didn't historically, right? Let me give you, for instance, in the Bible, it explicitly condones slavery. It says slavery is okay. And when you listen to somebody like Ben Shapiro, their argument here, and I know I've said this before, but their argument is, well, God will give a society information that he feels they're prepared for, that is better but not perfect, right? So back then, this is the argument, slavery was much worse, and then God implemented rules that to an extent protected slaves. Okay. If I take that argument, what you're saying is the Bible is not an objective source of morality. God might be an objective source of morality, but the Bible is not an objective source of morality. It is an interpretation through people as well as through societies based on what he feels societies can handle. And so there's also conversations about how apparently it might have been Jesus, it scared me. How it also might have been mistranslated in some capacity, saying like that men should not sleep with little boys, not that men should not sleep with gay people or other men. But like, how do you know? Like, what if right now the entire LGBTQ movement is God speaking through people and saying like, hey, accept these people as their own? I mean, even the Vatican is saying, let's accept gay and trans people more and let them come to church, you know? So wouldn't that be a source closer to God? Like, how do you know that there's just not God saying, hey, we're ready for this? You don't really know. Like, and it's interesting that this is the primary focus, is homosexuality. Is such a very heavy focus in religious communities, when it seems like what should be the focus is loving God. But there's kind of almost an obsession with gay and trans people, and I find it so bizarre. It doesn't really make sense to me. It just doesn't. It does. It seems like there's an obsession, but I'm just saying.
Keep pushing to that.
Good, Nike. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. What's going on, y'all? How you doing?
Doing good.
What's up, Nike?
None much. You know what I'm saying? First off, I just want to say, you know what I'm saying, pleasure to be up in here.
First, I want to say, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you for bringing me in here.
Of course.
I've been following you, JiDion, for a minute.
It's not a very long time.
And then Brother Josh, you know, I just got introduced to you by, you know, brother here, and you know your stuff, you know. Now we talk a lot about sexuality, so I want to talk about what people on that side don't want to talk about, because I am a victim on that side, you know.
A victim? What does that mean?
And I'm a be straightforward. You know what I'm saying? It's wrong. I'm not finna sit here and tell you that it's right. It's wrong. You know what I'm saying? I got a testimony.
All right. So it sounds like they're in agreement that being gay is wrong. It's not very good, but okay.
29 years old.
Oh, a hot minute. That's a very long time. Sorry.
People who, well, I'll be 20, right. It's wrong. You know what I'm saying? I got a testimony. I'm 29 years old. For people who, well, I'll be 29 on November 15th. So I just want to,
very good.
You know, I got a lot of wisdom.
Happy birthday.
So I want to, you know, share it.
Okay. I'm here.
7 years old, I was introduced into all this type of stuff. You know.
What does that mean?
You know what I'm saying?
7 years old.
Watching it, seeing.
Watching it how? Like pornography?
Picking it up. You know what I mean? And
I need to be more explicit about that. Like, I don't know, like, I'm not trying to be explicit, but were you molested by like a girl and you feel like that is picking it up, or did you come across pornography? I know that that's young. 7 is very young, but like, what does that mean? And the reason that I have an issue with that is it's so vague. And because here's the thing, when I hear, and they might explain this further, but I still want to express my problem with it. Did you see it in a movie? Did you see 2 girls or 2 guys just kiss in a movie when you were introduced to it? The reason that this is an important question is because when you vaguely say, I was introduced to it, that might just mean, that could mean to them, they like stumbled across pornography. That might mean, but people will take that and go, this is why we shouldn't even tell 7-year-olds that a gay person exists. And so to the degree that you came across it is very important, because we don't want this to be like, oh, see, we should never expose the existence of gay people to our kids. The problem is that, you know, we are all a mixture of environmental, biological, and we're going to call it womb factors, right? So there are genetic markers for being gay, some of them, not all of them. There are environmental aspects, in my opinion, as well. And then there's also hormone washing in your womb. And we know for a fact that for every boy that's born to the same mother, there's a higher chance that that kid will be gay. So clearly there's an environmental, or clearly there's an intentionality. There seems to be some kind of a biological imperative to create gay people. And you can theorize that that might have something to do with that. Gay people tend to adopt at disproportionately higher rates. People that are considered unwanted by society, I don't think that they're unwantable, but that's how you would classify that. And they tend to put more resources into the rest of their family because they seem to have less of a drive to have their own kids. I'm not saying that they don't, and they should be able to if they want. And you could see that there is a theoretical, biological, massive positive to having gay people in a society. But when it comes to the environmental factor, I think that it's very small. Like, for instance, I grew up very conservative. My mother was not homophobic, but it wasn't really something we talked about a lot. And I did have at some point a lot of distress about potentially being gay. And like I looked at dudes and it turned out I'm not gay. If I grew up in a more progressive household, I might be a little bit more bisexual. I still have some curiosity sometimes, and it's not a big deal. Very feminine men I'm down with, but I'm married now. And so I think that for the most part, we're all on a spectrum. And then like based on how we're raised, we're somewhat different on that spectrum. So let's say you were born like, we're going to say like a gay to straight, you're 80% straight. Maybe that's where your center mark is, but maybe you grew up in a more conservative household. So you're like 90% straight, or you grew up in a more progressive household. So maybe you're like 70% straight. You know what I mean? I feel like that's pretty much it. For the most part, you're born gay. You're like, for the most part, you're like, so maybe you're more bisexual. Maybe this girl's more bisexual, and she's erasing the lesbian part of her identity. But this advice isn't going to work for somebody who is like born 10% straight or like 10, like a 90% gay. This isn't going to help them because they are literally that is their authentic self, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like I said, the Bible seems to be mistranslating you shouldn't sleep with children to you shouldn't sleep with other men, which is ridiculous. Men should do whatever you want as long as it's safe and consensual. And again, God's word may have changed. We just, maybe current religious people are deaf to it. I mean, again, the Pope is saying, accept these people. So.
That's just an innocent little soul, you know what I mean? This is just how the world was. But back then, it was just, being a girl and sagging the girl clothes, sagging the apple bottom jeans, you know what I'm saying? Trying to fit in, hiding it. It wasn't as open as it is right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is me. This is me. Accept it. You know what I'm saying? We were scared back then. And for those that don't know, I was born a woman and I am a woman. Okay? Just for people who know that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I think they're trying to communicate they're not trans.
But I learned all this stuff. Basically, I learned all this stuff, and I was being told by somebody close, like, this is just, be yourself. This is, forming myself into somebody that I wasn't. And those are
if they were just saying be yourself, it sounds like you are a gay person that's repressing those feelings due to religious pressures, but okay.
So the demons in that community that will make you feel like you are unhappy with yourself, with your personal
Bro, this is so terminally online because I know a lot of gay people, and like it's not that deep where it's like, oh, I have such a when you're trying to figure out like who you are as a person. Yeah, it can be frustrating, but like once you're there, nobody cares. Like gay guys aren't walking around like, oh my god, like freaking out. They're like, oh, this just makes me happy, and they're moving on with their life, and they've done other things that are not gay, or they do gay stuff still, but like it's not about that. They're just like, oh, I'm gay, and it makes me happy to not be forced to not be gay. It's oh, okay, and then you move on. You just have regular conversation. It's interesting how much energy we overload into this. It's not that deep, but there's a deepness, there's a depth here. And I think it's because this person has struggled a lot with their sexuality and it's meaningful to them. Especially since you probably have to continuously reinforce that being gay is bad to escape those gay thoughts. Because I'm pretty sure this person is like a repressed gay person, and they're just they're coping very negatively from a religious perspective. Because religion is very impactful. I talk about how like when I was polyamorous for a while, I had a massive identity crisis because I grew up very religious. Where it really fucked me up and made me very distressed for a very long time. But I knew that I was happy because I was happier doing that. That's a whole different story for a different day. I'm monogamous now, but the point is that it can have a lot of put a lot of weight onto you. That can put a tremendous amount of weight onto you and your identity. So
features, to make with your personal features, to make you change and
Hi, Ricky became a member.
thank you so much for the small gut, brother. I appreciate that.
follow them. You know what I'm saying? So like,
No, I don't.
I want people to understand like some people don't get blessed to get out of that darkness. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that I was.
It's so weird calling out being gay darkness. It's so bad. I feel bad for these people that are so lost.
So
it feels like almost a defense mechanism for this person who's clearly struggling with their sexuality to say that it's bad. It's like, oh, please accept me. I know it's bad. Will you like othering yourself just to fall into a crowd of people who don't respect you fundamentally? So that's a sad thing.
I had like was addicted to drinking a lot, you know what I'm saying? So there's more demons that was pouring on me, you know what I'm saying? So drinking a lot,
Sure.
And I was not the seed was planted in my family as far as like spiritual, like all the way. My mom, she did what she could, but at a certain age, I feel like I could follow my own road, you know what I'm saying? And I am telling you all, I'm 28 years old right now, and I'm finally following the way that I'm supposed to go. Now, I've dated women, and I've been in that devilish mindset, selfish.
Fucking Jesus.
And, I found somebody recently, and
bro, I fucking hate you right now, but that was so funny. I just don't like you as a person right now. I wonder if being overweight was part of the tremendous amount of weight the polyamorous mattress had to withstand. I don't like you, right? I can't like you for that one. I feel conflicted with what you're saying. It's very funny on the one hand, but it makes me also angry at the same time, you fucking piece of shit. But it was funny. Damn. Okay. Well, that was pretty good. I'm going to give you that one. That one. I give you that one, brother. You fucking dickhead.
We both had the same goal, and that was to find God, so we do that as a
fucking asshole.
And I found somebody recently, and we both had the same goal, and that was to find God, so we do that as a mission together. She's my best friend, you know what I'm saying? So you're
both lesbians, I'm assuming.
We follow that together. So
self-hating, fortunate stuff.
Just basically, I just want people to understand, like, I was denied in the church, the Christianity that they call now, like, the judgment, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Brother Josh, you talked about telling people to stop, feeling left out, you know what I'm saying? I was one of those people who felt left out of this, out of the
Sounds like this person has always been looking for something like a community, and they just never found it. And I guess religion is the one that's most closest or comfortable to them. Maybe they grew up in a very conservative or religious area, and so they don't feel as comfortable with some other community of people that would accept them for who they are.
The love, because people was telling me, you going to hell. You going to hell. They made me feel like I didn't have a choice. They made me feel like that was the only way for me to just accept to go to hell and then let that be that. You know what I'm saying? So
It sounds like they're trying to shame you into being religious by saying you're going to go to hell, and then it worked. Okay.
It didn't make me want to open my Bible. You feel me?
Okay.
These are church
Gotcha.
people. I'm over here. Okay, yeah, they know.
Okay, I think I understand it. So I guess this pastor here is somebody who is generally more accepting of people, where it's like instead of trying to shame people by saying you're going to hell, try to accept them to pull them into the light of God. Okay, interesting. That's possible.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? What they talking about, but they really don't. You know what I'm saying? They sit there, they judge you, and they.
Can I be the godfather of your kid? Probably not. It's so funny because like what it means to be a godfather or godmother to me is like very serious. The way that I value and interpret that is like if I die, you're raising my kids. It's a big responsibility for me. That's how I was kind of raised. So I've been thinking about who's going to be the parents to my children, who's going to be people that are the most reliable and dependable that could raise my children, that would have values similar to my values if I passed away and my wife passed away as well. And it's going to be a gay couple, by the way. I've already decided it's my wife's best friend and his husband, because they both work, they both do well for themselves. I appreciate their values as individuals. Being gay is not one of their values, by the way. I like the way I prefer them to be the parents of my kid if I die. So it's almost funny, So
I tell you, like, you know what I'm saying? You failed already. So I had to find out. I had to find my mentor. I found my pastor, and Brother Josh, you are on that list as well too. I learned a lot from you guys. This is my first live stream that I've came into. You know what I'm saying? But I go to work, and I just got done listening to y'all other podcasts. You know what I'm saying? Where I think you had somebody from India, who was speaking his stuff. You feel me?
You really listening, Nike? That's all praises.
I'm telling you. And it's crazy, and I'm gonna be honest. Like that's the first thing you gotta, people who's dealing with their sexuality is you gotta stop saying that is stop making yourself try to feel comfortable, like Brother Josh says. Stop trying to feel accepted. You know what I'm saying, from a whole different community that has nothing to do with Jesus.
I mean, okay, I think I'm understanding that. I'm trying to understand what they're saying. So stop trying. If you're gay, don't turn to the gay community for acceptance. Reject your homosexuality and gravitate towards the community that thinks that you are less than and don't deserve to be happy. That makes a lot of sense to me, actually. That's incredible. That's what we used to say. My grandfather actually used to say a very similar thing. He would always tell black people to stop hanging out with other black people and to just bleach their skin and to join the KKK, because obviously it makes more sense to go to the community that fucking hates your existence than to the community of people who can understand your struggle. That's fucking, it's incredible stuff. Listen, sure, there could be toxic pockets of gay people communities, I guess, online. Same thing with religious people. Just what the fuck is happening? I mean, I feel terrible for this person. They're obviously gay, and I don't know why I expect anything different. Like, it's unfortunate to see that JiDion is homophobic. I mean, I don't know. I wanted to reject it for, but no hate like religious love. It's not really an L joke. You could say it's an L joke. I wasn't really kidding. Okay, my grandfather is racist. Just kidding. It's more of an exposure of hypocrisy there, because there's a level of truth to it, right? Like, unfortunately, traditional religious communities have been very homophobic. It's something that you really cannot change about yourself. So you're sacrificing and trying to hide your sexuality that there's nothing wrong with, just so that you can be part of a community that will never truly love or accept you for who you are. And I think it's a sad thing. It's just a sad thing.
You know what I'm saying? And they can't cancel me because You know, I
Nothing
was
to
already
cancel.
canceled when I had accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior. You know what I'm saying? So
Amen.
at the end of the
No
day,
one's gonna cancel you for being a lesbian and hiding it. We're just gonna feel terrible for you.
you know, I just want people to who's dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? To you know, find somebody who's willing to go on that same route. Like, you know what I'm saying? Me and her yesterday was like, you know what? We was joking. We was serious. You know, I was like, you know, I love you, but I'm not going to hell for you. You feel me? Like we was just, and then she said the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And so now
weird.
we like, you know, I want to see you in heaven. She like, I want to see you in heaven. So you know, we doing this together. We go to church every day. We, you know what I'm saying? We do what we got to do, and it's.
I mean, listen, if God, and I truly don't believe that God dislikes gay people. Like I said before, the argument about, I don't think that the Bible is an objective source of morality. I think that when you look at the Bible and the fact that there are 3,000 versions and translations of the Bible, that it's very clear to me that God is testing religious people with the Bible. I mean, there's no way it hasn't been tampered with. There's just no way. Yeah, I want to go to hell if being gay is a sin, because there's something so fundamentally horrific about an intentional design to make somebody gay just to test them in life by making them not be happy ever, for this potential forever happiness after death that might not even exist. I'd rather just go to hell, put enough of us in there, and we're just going to overthrow. We're just going to overthrow heaven anyway, right? God, why are you giving your enemies more ammunition? Makes no sense to me. But yeah, it's so hard because you look at the Bible and like you look at age of consent. It's just when a young girl hits puberty. It's like it's not right. So if that's not right, how the fuck? Like, I know that's not right. I think that they would agree with me there. So there has to be something wrong with the Bible. There has to be an issue with the Bible. You know what I mean? Like there has to be something in there that is just not correct, whether it's through interpretation, through an individual weaponizing it, or through a society that God's like, hey, like this is better than what you're doing now. It's just no fucking way. There's just no way it's godly to hate gay people. There's just no, or not even to hate them, but to just look down on them. Like there's nothing wrong with being gay. There's nothing. So
I'm walking with a different type of walk. I'm walking with a different type of talk. I ain't never pointed out scriptures in the Bible in my life until now. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I would just want people to know, like, hey, you struggling, you got to figure out how to get out of that dark side, you know, where they telling you that is right, and find that light, and then keep pushing to that. You know what I'm saying? And I want to thank y'all because y'all, aside with my church and my pastor, you know what I'm saying, y'all put a lot of knowledge on me too, Brother Josh. You know what I'm saying? You do your thing, and I appreciate y'all.
Okay. Well, hopefully you're overall happier. It's just I feel like you can get a similar happiness in community without rejecting your fundamental self.
Man, I just wanted to add on to that. That's just crazy, Nike, that like, you know, she's over. This is a definite.
I find it almost calculated to post a video like this from JiDion. I think, and what I mean by that is that he's able to take somebody who was formerly gay and platform them and have them say being gay is wrong. That's what she's saying. And you almost get a plausible deniability from that. It's like, well, I'm not saying that. That's how it feels.
Definition of denying yourself. You know, her flesh is telling her what she wants to do, but she knows what her spirit needs. And the thing that gets me, like, the thing I hate the most about like the modern day Christian church is like they'll bash people like her for the sin that she was in.
I don't think that the modern day church bashes people who are reformed homosexuals, but okay.
But then there'll be the same people like after the service is over and be like, okay, guys, go get your pork chops. When you can find those same verses in the
Toasty super chatted $1.99. Gooning should be a new religion.
Yeah, true. Is Papa's JiDion one of those Christians? Yeah, unfortunately, he is.
Same book, but then they try to excuse when you can find those same verses in the same book, but then they try to excuse and they try to do loop-de-loops and everything. I can't stand that. You know what I mean? And it's like, this is her truly denying herself, but we can't put down the pork chops. We can't.
Are you not supposed to eat pork chops? The Bible say don't eat pork chops.
You know, we can't absorb or the tithe, and we can't observe a day that God literally specifically say this day is set apart. But we want to say, oh no, you know, I got too much stuff to do on Saturday.
Well, it looks like JiDion posted a video 3 hours ago. Today's Sunday, bro. What the fuck are you doing, dude? It's supposed to be the day of rest. That is a sin, unironically. Doing. You can't even. It's interesting how you have this high expectation of gay people not being gay, but you can't even live by the concept of not doing work on a Sunday. Any type of work. Or maybe he just released it. Maybe he just released it for. Maybe he had it up for some other time. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Saturday, so Sunday is the day I'm gonna give you, and that's the reason why, you know, I get people like Brother Josh, is because like he really, it's just like we just need people that actually just say what the Bible says. Too many people try to sugarcoat one thing, but then they want to go hard for another thing. Okay. And sister, I'm
like this. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but that logic, are you like okay with 13-year-old girls marrying 30-year-old men? Because I'm pretty sure the age of consent in the Bible is when a girl gets her period. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It seems to be that a woman is prepared. There's no age of consent in the Bible, and women apparently are able to be married when they have their period. That's of my understanding. I don't know.
I was gonna say sorry, but sister, I'm so happy for you. I am so happy for you. I'm so happy for your testimony.
And there are some things that try to protect children, but according to the Bible, I'm pretty sure you're an adult once you're like 13. So,
and I know it takes a lot of courage to come up here and, you know, like speak like that, because I know, like, you know, you can get condemned in a whole nother community, you know what I mean? And you're feeling it in both. You're feeling it from your own community, in the Christian community, and your old community. And so,
but that was never my community, though. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. And I am one of those warm-hearted people to really just say, like, hey, it's just like you were talking about another part, you know, the other one, like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all was talking about how porn is an addiction. It was some type of,
oh yeah, porn can definitely be an addiction.
Hypnosis, or, you know, you just following, you know what I'm saying? You in your own, you just in a room full of the same people that's going to put you in that same mentality. You know what I'm saying? You in the same room with people who watch porn, you're going to put you in that mentality. You know what I'm saying? Look, we all in the same room full of people who trying to get better. Look, we going to build our mentality. That's just how life is, man. You know what I mean?
Iron sharpens iron.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Nike. How long you been in the Discord for?
I'm gonna be honest, I just joined the Discord today because I really wanted to, you know, say that in front of a lot of people, you know what I mean? And just get that off of my chest, because I was, you know, people ain't gonna be able to do this, you know what I'm saying? People who was in that community ain't gonna do this, you know what I'm saying? Because they feel targeted. I don't feel targeted. You know,
you already, like you said earlier, you already got a target on your back. Right when you say you accepted Jesus Christ, that's the biggest target you can ever have.
It's a little bit of a victim call. The biggest target you can have is saying that you accept Jesus Christ. That's so terminally online and disconnected from fucking reality. That's not the biggest target. People might be like, "Oh, you're annoying," because a lot of religious people are annoying about other people's, you know, behaviors, like being gay. But it's not the biggest target. Nobody's dying because they believe in Jesus. Okay, what the fuck are you talking about? It's just such a victim complex. But okay.
Not facts. And I be, you know what I'm saying? I be at work and y'all, the streams be like 8, 9 hours, and hey, that's all I got for 10 hours on my time. I put y'all on my headphones and we just going.
All praises, all praises. Well, here, if you're not busy tomorrow, we'd love for you to come by to the Shabbat class. We're gonna do a Shabbat class. Listen in. If you got free time, get your notebook open, take notes. But if you don't, just listen and then circle back around and get those notes taken. Do you know what the class is about yet, Brother Josh? Or are you gonna surprise us tomorrow?
Okay.
I know what it is. I'm actually working on it right now, but I ain't telling y'all nothing. Y'all got to tune in. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna be tuned in, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have y'all in my headphones for sure.
4:30. What side of the U.S. you on?
I'm in California where it go down.
So,
It's 3. She all 3 hours behind then.
I'm dying
What time is it there?
so that's gonna be 2:30, 2:30 Pacific time for you. So 2:30 Pacific time. That's when the stream's gonna get started. So you should get a notification from the Discord, or if you got your post notifications on YouTube, or if you just remember, you can listen in from anywhere.
I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow.
All right, thank you. Shalom.
Wow. Well, I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised.